Only a case of high noon for Prince Harry. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. How are you doing? Hope you're all keeping well. We're in this madness right now here in the middle of London where it's not just the weather, in fact. I know, I keep getting told off for talking about the weather, but I love sharing it with you. You know, if you're coming over to London, don't worry. We have at least 10 minutes of good 10 minutes at least of good weather, you know, then it rains and it comes back. Oh, you know what it's like. But whatever you're doing, I hope you're all keeping well. If you are travelling, travel safely. And if you are sort of travelling around the world and you've managed to get out the airports, then you're doing better than anybody else, aren't you? I love the fact that people were sleeping with their luggage. I'm not laughing about it, but you kind of think, gosh, it's come to that, you know? And possibly that could end up being your holiday, couldn't it? Just being trapped in the airport. Don't get me going. Back as ever to your breaking roll story of the day. On a more serious matter, this has become a rather serious matter because it's, you know, very different, isn't it, to find that a family member is actually suing Her Majesty's government, and that really is what it's a case about, because as we now know, Prince Harry has decided to sue the British Metropolitan Police, or at least instigate that particular case, over the fact that he feels he should have security when he returns back here to the United Kingdom. Now, it was all a bit messy, you see. What happened was, you know, that particular story got leaked and nobody truly is sure whether Prince Harry is offering to pay for his own security. But as the British Metropolitan Police pointed out alongside our Home Secretary, Priti Patel, you can't just hire the Met Police as and when you decide to return. This applies to everybody, whether, you know, you are the person of a superstar level, like, say, Beyonce or you know, President Biden. I mean, obviously, if he was on an official visit, he would obviously have British Met Police protection. But if it was a private visit, he simply couldn't just hire our very best officers to decide to take him round, which is the case, of course, of Harry and Meghan. Now, when they were members of the British monarchy, they had their own security circuit, their own team. You know, that was part of the deal. All senior members of the British monarchy have this. When he decided to relinquish that opportunity to become a member of the British monarchy alongside Meghan, all of that went with him too. And then we heard him moan about the fact that he had to provide his own security, pay for it himself on the Oprah Winfrey Show. But that's the deal, you know, when you're not part of something, you have to pay for it yourself. But then Prince Harry dropped this bigger bombshell. That's right. He decided to tell the world that, you see, he didn't feel safe in London. Not many of us do, actually, Harry, but we don't have the luxury of protection. I'm joking. London's a very safe place. It's like everywhere, depending on where you go and at what time you do. And also, let's not forget, don't wear all your jewels on display carrying very expensive phones. Never a good look, is it? But back to Harry, what basically the deal is that he's saying when he does return to London or Windsor or any part of the United Kingdom, what he's requesting is to have the British Metropolitan Police looking after him and his family. And the remit behind this is that they know exactly the dangers and pitfalls, having protected the British monarchy for so many years, that would go on that a normal security team simply wouldn't know anything about. Their fight back is simply they're not for hire. And unless, of course, a request came from His Royal Highness Prince Charles, Our Gracious Majesty the Queen, or indeed Prince William, then it couldn't really be changed. Now, if they were visiting, of course, like they did recently, and stayed on the Windsor Great Estate, they fall under the remit of the Royal Protection Service anyway, so there's not really a problem. What people are really confused about is, where does Prince Harry exactly want security and what for? Because if he was going to come back to London, as we found out, apparently he would be staying in Windsor. So how does that truly work? As ever, this story is really going on, and as I say, it's now gone to the High Court, which has proven incredibly embarrassing for Our Gracious Majesty the Queen and, of course, all senior members of the British monarchy. If it does go the full throttle, then, of course, it could really be a very big battle, and more importantly, very expensive for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But either way, there's truly going to be no winners. And right now, it looks like the British Metropolitan Police are saying the case is closed on security. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.